what do you feel about mitochondria and Ayurveda?
I feel like, sir,
So
mitochondria.
I will tell you something on that. Agni means Agni Shabd, Agni word is the meaning of Agni means Agavyapto. It means it is present everywhere. It is omnipresence. Each and every cell, except some dead cells, hair and nails. So except those dead tissues, Agni is present everywhere. This is the one thing. Mitochondria is present in all the tissues. So this is the one similarity. Okay.
Mhm.
Second thing, we inherit Agni from mother. This is what Ayurveda says, huh?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
even modern science says mitochondria
Yeah.
is inherited only and only through ovum. Sperms do not have mitochondria. It's a neck of the sperm, in
Mhm.
which mitochondria are available, but head of the sperm, which makes the ovum fertile, it does not have mitochondria. So mitochondrial genes are inherited through ovum. What we say, artavam agnayam. Artavam means three bija.
Mhm.
So that is Agni. Saumyam Shukram. Shukram is your sperm, Shukra Dhatu.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is Saumya, that is not having any kind of Agni
Mhm.
inside. So
Mhm.
very important, these two properties which are there in mitochondria and Agni, present everywhere, inherited through mother. Okay, then Ayurveda says, are you, your all kinds of, your metabolism, your digestion, your aging, your aura, complex diseases, all these things, depend upon Agni.
Mhm.
Okay, so all kinds of homeostasis is
Mhm.
because of the Agni. Same is about mitochondria. If
Mhm.
mitochondria is healthy, person is healthy. If mitochondria is, the decrease, then person become deceased. If mitochondria is dead,
Mhm.
mitochondria plays very important role in generating the death signal. And in cancer, this mitochondria is prohibited from generating death signals.
Okay.
Okay, so free radicals which play very important role if they are produced in a optimum number. Okay,
Mhm.
they play very important role in generating death signal.
Mhm.
And exactly in cancer, what happens? The cancer cells, they don't allow mitochondria to generate death signal. They
Okay.
don't allow mitochondria to produce optimum amount of free radical, and because of which cancer cells become immortal. So what, same thing. So Agni doesn't die, but it becomes, abnormal and keeps on producing abnormal cell. So
Mhm.
Dhatu Agni Mandya
Mhm.
produces more number of Dhatu. This is what Ayurveda says. And Dhatu Agni Vriddhi produces less number of Dhatu. So in
Okay.
Ayurveda, cancer, the main treatment is to be improve your Dhatva Agni and
Mhm.
Agni. What we
Mhm.
do, we give some medicines, and we have seen that,
Mhm.
like for example, ginger.
Mhm.
If you give ginger, it improves Agni. Okay,
Okay.
it improves your cellular powerhouse, improves your appetite, hunger, ginger, piperine, all these things. Same, if you give ginger, your mitochondria function is improved. Now, how to calculate this mitochondrial function? Do you have any marker? Do you know any marker for mitochondria? So
Um.
there is a marker called 8-hydroxy 2-deoxyguanase. 8-hydroxy
Okay.
2-deoxyguanase. And this can be checked very easily, non-invasive, through your urine.
Okay.
So if mitochondrial damage is more, your 8-hydroxy 2-deoxyguanase is higher in the urine. You check
Oh, so
out at
there
your
is potential for
laboratory or clinic.
diagnostics.
Yes. So if you give ginger, this 8-hydroxy excretion becomes lesser.
But sir, is it in practice or are you doing
It
any
is,
trials for that? Okay.
there are certain labs, they are doing it, but not that much. So research is going on, 8-hydroxy 2. Then there are certain biopsy evidences are there. If you
Mhm.
give fasting, we Ayurveda doctor believe a lot of in the fasting and intermittent fasting. So if you give fasting, Agni improves. Okay.
Mhm.
And the same has been confirmed in biopsy that if you give proper fasting, your mitochondrial healthy biogenesis occur. In
Okay.
cancer, the mitochondria become smaller and smaller.
Mhm.
Okay, if you eat food, all mitochondria fuse together, they become large and they digest.
Mhm.
But in cancer, the mitochondria are smaller. There is a more amount of division. So that division protein, is active. So,
Mhm.
so if you do fasting, your mitochondrial healthy biogenesis improve.
Mhm.
Okay, if you do fasting, your HSP protein, heat shock protein, that is improved. Okay, so chemotherapy side effect doesn't occur on the normal cell. So there are a lot of trials are done itself in your USA, short-term fasting, long-term fasting before the chemotherapy. So if you give fasting means low calorie diet, no animal food, no oil, and all those simple diet is given 800 to 1200 calories. So they have seen that bone marrow suppression, which occurs because of the chemotoxicity, does not occur in those who have undergone through fasting before the chemotherapy. So 48 hours of fasting, 72 hours of fasting. So this is something again an onco prevention. Your Agni improves, your mitochondria improve, the side effect of chemotherapy is reduced. Patient is able to complete the treatment, and that itself is a great contribution. And all these things has been proven. It has been published in various esteemed journals. Yeah.
Yes, I think thanks for bringing attention to fasting. And I had a question for you on fasting. I think it's
Yeah.
I was like confused if fasting is for everyone, all constitutions. And there are so many different types of fasting. So what would you say? Like there is a study that I read, I recall, I think Cancer Discovery, a recent study, I think 2022 or something. They've mentioned like fasting mimicking diets where they the all types of patients they consume like I think around 600 calories and for one day, and then they just start lowering it, I think around 300 or so for next 4 days till they can regain their normal diet.
Okay. So Radhika, you must be recalling in 2016, the Nobel Prize for the physiology subject was given. Prestigious Nobel Prize was, awarded to Dr. Yoshinori Oshumi. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing in a wrong way. He's a Japanese scientist. He was given a Nobel Prize, and his main research was efficacy of the fasting. And he has proven that if you do once in a week fasting, it is very helpful to prevent number of diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, dyslipidemia, Alzheimer, Parkinson, and cancer. So during fasting, what happens? Your cell goes in a autophagy mode. Whatever intracellular debris is there, your mitochondria consumes that, digests that, produces heat, produces energy, raw material, whatever intracellular debris is there, dead cells are there, okay, from their skeleton, okay, and it replenishes your mitochondrial biogenesis improves. So this he has proven. So this is called autophagy. So in cancer, at certain stage, yes, this fasting is very essential. But cancer cells are very smart. Okay. They start surviving. They start, they are very intelligent. So even if you do fasting, after some time, they start surviving on that and they adopt the autophagy mode, autophagy mechanism to survive them. Okay. So at certain stages, in certain cases, it is very useful fasting, but in late stages, it is not useful. Fasting is useful, as I said, if you give before chemotherapy, 48 hours, 72 hours, it will help. Because at that time, if you have diagnosed case early, okay, and you have started the treatment and you give proper diet, remove unhealthy diet, give fasting before chemotherapy, it will help. But according to Ayurveda, if person is of a Vata Prakruti, total fasting should not be given. Okay, give him a low calorie diet. Okay, if patient is of a Kapha Prakruti, yes, you can give fasting. Okay, so Langhanam Bala Adhisthana, Prana Avirodhinam, you should not give fasting till patient die. Okay, that is wrong according to Ayurveda. You should not feel weak after fasting. So your bulk, your strength should be maintained. Okay. And Pitta Prakruti patient, again, if there is a Vata, you give low amount of fasting. If there is a Kapha, you can give little more amount of fasting. You can give it. So this is how, we decide if patient belongs to Vata, we avoid fasting. If patient belongs to Pitta and Kapha, we ask them to do fasting. So this is how, fasting will help.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting back to the diet aspect, I just had two more questions on that. First is
Please.
on sugary diets.
Yeah.
So, what does Ayurveda have to say about sugary diets? Because in the West, people always have a glass of soda with their meals, and
Yeah.
whether they obviously contain a lot of sugar, sometimes it's unsweetened, but it's definitely not good for the body for so many reasons. But what
Correct.
link does it have with cancer? First is that, and then second question, which you can maybe answer that later, which is also very critical, is on animal-based diets and red meat, which is quite established. But if you would like to give any perspective, Ayurvedic perspective on that, that will be also helpful.
Correct. So, coming to your first question about sweet, there are 6 rasas are said in Ayurveda: Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikta, Kashaya. Okay, Madhur means sweet, Amla means sour, Lavan means salt, Katu means your pungy, okay, pungy, and Tikta means your bitter, and Kashaya means astringent. Now, there is a specific word used while describing Madhura Rasa, that if you increase the increase amount of Madhura Rasa, consume sweet, it causes arbuda. It causes shotha. So definitely Ayurveda says that if you have excess amount of sweet, so now where are these sweet? All, carbs. Avoid the direct white sugar or jaggery, or the honey. They are all sweet. Okay, okay, but then direct processed food, ultra processed food, like the white bread, it is high in sugar. Sabudana, high in sugar. Okay. All your chips, wafers, all your pizzas, burgers, they all are high in sugar. So one should not consume that. Every day people drink tea in the morning, coffee in the morning, or 3 to 5 cups. Every time they keep on adding sugar. So that is definitely very, very hazardous for the health. It is not only the sugar, people then they replace it with the jaggery. But even jaggery in a quantity is, bad. It is all same. They also add honey to the hot water, honey to the hot milk, honey to the hot tea, which is absolutely wrong and contraindicated according to Ayurveda. You should not heat up the honey. So even Ayurveda do not advise, to do all these things, excess amount. It has to be in a balance. You consume sweet in a natural form.
So
That
could you
is the
highlight
first.
the aspect on why honey heating is restricted in Ayurveda? Because I try to convince some of my colleagues, some of the Western colleagues that I have, but they were not ready to listen to me, and they were like giving their counter reasons for why they consume honey in a heated beverage. But what explanation do you have?
No, what Ayurveda says ki if you heat up the honey, see, honey is prepared from the honey bees. They consume, they collect all kinds of, from the flowers, the nectar, and then they prepare it. Okay. If you heat up, so certain, I don't recollect the name of the toxin. Okay. That toxin is generated, and that you are directly consuming. When you heat up, that you can find out on the Google, okay, what kind of toxins are, generated when you heat up the honey. So, see, 1 or 2 times you take, it will never happen. You will never come to know. But if you continuously take it, now these toxins apparently at macro level may not affect you. But at micro level, this toxin, Ayurveda calls them as a Visha. So these Visha, these toxins, they actually stimulate oncogenesis. And how you will come to now, there are plastic consumption. Microplastics are found in in biopsies, in the animal studies, and so many things. So plastic use is increased. So, microplastic. So that is also like a visha, that is also like a poison. So they all stimulate your oncogenes. So eating honey in a moderation, okay. Even Ayurveda says not to give honey if the temperature is high. If the person is having 103, 104 degree Fahrenheit of the temperature, he should not take honey. This is what, abundant precaution Ayurveda has taken. Okay. So that definitely it produces some kind of toxin, which you can definitely get reference, and consuming that toxin continuously, may it a smaller amount, it will definitely stimulate oncogene, especially if you are, pre-defined to get the cancer. So
Okay.
this is about the honey. Now, regarding the animal thing, you will be surprised, Radhika. Let me take the help of some the information.
Sure.
Every day, 9 lakhs cows, 14 lakhs goats, 17 lakhs sheep, 38 lakhs pigs, 12 million ducks, and 202 million chickens are slaughtered every day for human consumption, as per the FAO 2021 data. Okay. And add to that consumption of 211 million killed fishes. So annually, okay, almost 100 billion farmed animals are killed worldwide. okay, for human consumption. This is absolutely pity. This is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing, understand this animal protein, when you heat up at high temperature for the consumption, it generates again those toxins and they are carcinogenic. It is proven, especially the red meat.
Yes.
Okay, they are all carcinogenic. Plus, you do not heat up as it is. You heat up along with oil. You add oil. You marinate them. Okay, and when you cook in that way, definitely it is not good. I do not advise people, my cancer patient, to drink even milk, ghee, and oil. Now, many my of the colleagues, Ayurveda colleagues, they criticize me. They say, you being an Ayurveda doctor, how can you ask patient not to eat ghee and milk, which are called amruta? I said, yes, friend, that is correct. But what is written in Ayurveda, you have forgotten. In those days, every household had cow. So I am going to drink milk of the cow which is nurtured in my house. I am a herder also. I am looking after that cow. I am taking her for, eating the grass. Okay, she is walking around. Okay, I am not doing any kind of forceful, artificial, conception to her. Today, cow is made, pregnant 3 times in a year, and even during pregnancy, the milk she is milked, which is a definitely, most cruelty. Second thing, this milk is good for the calf, for that cows or buffaloes bachus, may it be A2 or may it be A1. That is good for that breed. We do not need that because our body will respond in a different way. The growth hormones in the cow's milk and animal milk are very stimulate the growth hormone in your body, and it will stimulate the cancer growth. Why cancer is growing so out proportionately? You look at the consumption of milk and milk product is increased like anything. The processed milk, processed paneer and cheese. So all those things are related. It is not only alcohol and smoking. Many people come to us that we are not having smoking, alcohol, still why we have cancer. If you ask them, they consume 3 times in a day, they consume milk, paneer, butter, protein, we want protein. So there is a large consumption of this thing, and that causes. There's a study called China study, okay, a big book, and it has proven that consumption of milk product is linked, highly linked to the cancer. There are stalwarts in India like Dr. Nandita Shah, Dr. Rupa Shah, Dr. Pramod Tripathi, so on and so forth. They have done tremendous work on the hazardous effects of milk and milk products on human health. Okay, so in olden days, the limited amount of milk was available. I was not mixing all milk together. Now today in the market, you get all cow's milk is mixed together. Okay, they are forcefully made pregnant. Okay, in order to milk them, the calf is taken away, and that cow actually cries, and you are that is all stress hormone. That cow is stood at only one place. She is tied up at one place. So all stress hormones are produced. Okay, and because of all those stress hormones and growth hormone you are consuming indirectly, you are promoting growth hormone cycle. Your raw material production increases, amino acids, fatty acids. Your mitochondria is constantly dumped with that. So it has to somewhere, it goes in a metabolism is haywire and it produces this. So I ask patient not to have that. Again, when patient is having in Ayurveda, what typically called amavastha, means your body has got an inflammation, one should not consume ghee and oil. So cancer is a chronic low-grade inflammation. This we have already proven, accepted, established. So in a stage of inflammation, chronic inflammation, one should not even consume ghee. This is what Ayurveda says. Okay, so I asked my patient to become totally vegan, and results are really amazing results. There are people, they respond very well. All kinds of autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, cancer, neoplastic disorder. Patient, they respond very well when they become vegan. So this is, based on my personal observation and also on this doctor to whose name I have given, Dr. Nandita Shah, Dr. Rupa Shah, Dr. Pramod Tripathi, and so on and so forth. They have data of not one or two patients, 15,000 patients, 20,000 patients. They have published the data. Okay, that how, if you become vegan, how you can reverse diabetes, how you can reverse psoriasis, how you can, help to reverse the heart diseases. Okay, Dr. Vimal Chajet, he's a cardiologist. So, so there's a big data, but as you know, commercial manufacturer will not allow this to come up, and this will be always the suppressed. That is what I feel. So I have answered your both the questions that milk, the sugar is definitely not good. Okay. Processed sugars, the cola sugar, they are absolutely bad. And about the animal products, meat, absolutely no. Okay.
Yeah.
Milk products also absolutely you have to avoid. Okay. For having a better result. This is what onco prevention is.
Yes. I think that's really, really enlightening, and some of the concepts are also like surprising me. So I'm happy that you're sharing all this very important key
Yeah.
takeaways for our audience as well.